Hello, families. This is for next week, so the 16th through the 19th, Speak at a Glance. I'm just going to touch on the standards that we are going to be going over, the major concepts, and then I want to review my schedule one more time. We have like 11 new students in the class, so I just want to make sure that in case maybe it wasn't heard before in any of the previous videos or anything like that, I'll just go over my schedule one more time so that we're all on the same page. So we just wrapped up ELA's 6-week writing unit, and I am not gonna lie that I was like so blown away this week getting to listen to their Flipgrids and the amazing job that they did on their personal narratives. I had students that made movies about their personal narrative. I had people who illustrated every page instead of just one page. So I'm just blown away by the hard work that they put into their personal narrative and the initiative that so many kids took to go like way above and beyond my expectations. And it's just really neat to be able to see that creativity shine through in random projects that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see them with. So since we completed our ELA personal narrative writing unit, we are moving into another chapter book study. So we are going to be reading Night of the Spadefoot Toads, and that was a book that you could have picked up at supply pickup recently, like last month, or you may have gotten it at the beginning of the year too. So either way, as long as you have that book, that is what we're going to be reading out of starting next week. They can also find the book on Pearson. So if they log on to their Launchpad, the little icon says Pearson, and it might have Savos right under it. They'll click on that, choose ELA. The book is under Unit 1, so they could click Unit 1. They would see the book Night of the Spadefoot Toads, open it, and it's really nice because there's a digital version, but there's also like a little hippo on the side that they can click, and it reads out loud to them. So if for some reason my video is not working, or they just want to listen to it again, anything like that, they can play the hippo to read the book to them. Some students even really just like to click that and listen to it like as they read along. I've had some students who make it like a challenge that they read at least as quickly as the hippo. There's different reasons, but kids seem to really like it, so I just wanted to let you know about the feature on there. And our focus for this week in ELA is going to be comparing and contrasting characters, settings, and events. So we'll kind of go through each day studying the focus of comparing and contrasting how characters change as you get to know them, comparing and contrasting where they're from, and those kinds of things. So that will be the focus of this week. And they're only going to have one chapter a day that they read. I read all of the chapters out loud and I record it, I put it on the slides, but I do ask that they read it along with me just to have that reading practice. They can do that again by either following along online or by having their physical copy out with them. In science, we are going to be learning about humans' impact on the environment. So that will be the main focus of science. It'll talk anywhere from impacts that we have already made on our environment across the world to how long the scientists think that that will last if we continue at the rate we are going. In social studies, they've already learned about the southern and the northern colonies. So this week's focus is going to be about the middle colonies. And in math, we're just kind of furthering our learning with fractions. So this week we introduced mixed numbers, and we talked about how this is really just a formative week for us to see what they know about mixed numbers already and how they choose to I think just for a couple of days, there were some questions, I think like 3 or 4 questions that had mixed numbers in them, and we're not counting them right or wrong. We just want to see what they do with them, if they already know that concept or not. So after being able to look at that this week, we have, I think, 3 days next week where that is like our sole focus of how to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions, finding the common denominator, and then being able to go forth in the equation, like adding and subtracting them. So that's what we're going to do in math. We're also going to continue studying line plots. So if you have a set of fractions, putting them on a line plot from least to greatest value, and then them being able to say how they understand or how they know which is the lesser value and which is the greatest value. I've seen a huge growth in just the past couple of weeks with their understanding of fractions. I know that it's just briefly touched on in 3rd and 4th grade, and this is kind of more of an intense focus on fractions. And sometimes students, I think, having not very much time with fractions feel like maybe they're not that good at it or anything like that. But I've seen a lot of like light bulbs go off and confidence really grow. So if there's anything I can do to assist in that, if you would like one-on-one time or anything like that, please reach out to me and let me know, and we can set aside a day, maybe like a half an hour or an hour where we just get a small group together and we can focus on that skill if that's something that they're feeling like they would want more practice with. My schedule. So I made an announcement on Canvas, which means basically it's just like a note that I can make for students, and it'll show when they log into Canvas and they go to click on our classroom, there's a little speaker and it kind of puts out a little blurb, and it'll say, either like 1, 2, 3, however many announcements I have made that they have not yet read. And so they should just have one because it's the only announcement I've made in about a week. But if they click on that, we went over it this morning in the morning meeting. I kind of went over what I had written, but for anybody that wasn't on the morning meeting, this is hopefully helpful. Monday through Thursday, I put my schedule for all of the times that I have available for students to hop onto a Zoom call and get my help. I believe I'm at 29 students now. So we went from like 16 or 17 to 29, which is awesome. And I love that there's so many students joining our classroom, and a lot of them know each other now from continuing to do RBS instead of going back in person. So that's really nice that some new friendships and some old friendships are able to kind of reignite in class. But I just kind of wanted to make sure that you, as families that might be newer, were aware of how available I am and at what time. So from 7 to 8 in the morning, I'm on my computer, and some students don't love Zoom, which is totally fine. So from 7 to 8, I am on to answer any Canvas questions that they might have, or they can message me on GoGuardian. So if they want to just chat with me, kind of like an instant messenger, that's an option for them during that time, 7 to 8 a.m. From 8 to 9 in the morning, I have one-on-one time. And then 9 to 10 is our morning meeting. So from 9 to 9:30, we typically have been playing a Gimkit, which is kind of just a game for them to play. And we've been focusing on multiplication facts for the first game and then fractions for the second game. And then from 9:30 to 10, we talk about the daily tasks. From 10 to 10:30, everybody gets a break. 10:30 to 11 is open Zoom, so somebody can hop on if they'd like to and ask any questions they might have. 11 to 11:30 is small groups. So the small group schedule is posted under announcements as well on Canvas. They're Monday through Thursday, and I have about 6 kids per day that we meet with for half an hour, and we go over the daily tasks, or we might have, kind of depending on the week, we might have like a specific skill I want to focus on. 11:30 to 12 is question and answer time. So again, it's just an open Zoom where people can hop in and out and ask any questions they have before they have their lunch. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have PLC, and that goes from 12 to 1. Sometimes it goes over, often it goes a little bit over. So I put my office hours from 12 to like 1:30, just to make sure that I am not super late to opening the Zoom calls. So 1:30 to 3 o'clock is open hour again for Zoom. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 to 3 is time for students to hop on Zoom anytime they have a question, and I'm there to help them. Mondays and Wednesdays, it's 1 to 3. So since I don't have PLC on that time, 1 to 3 I have as my open time. Then 3 to 4 is typically the time that I check up on my emails and, answer any Parent Connect questions that might pop up there. And then I check my Canvas account again, and I go through those messages. After 4 p.m., I try to kind of give the 4 to 5 window for any families that might not get off of work until 4 or 5 to have like Parent Connect meetings. So from 4 to 5, I typically am not on Zoom for students, but if their parents want to connect with me in any way, that's kind of a block of time that we can do that. And then at 5 o'clock, I kind of just turn off my computer for Zoom calls anyways, or Parent Connect meetings, unless something is scheduled. If we have something scheduled, we can totally make that happen, but it's just not like on a regular basis open. So Fridays have become my like no Zoom days really, unless somebody requests it, because I don't have prep time during the week anymore with the Zooms being going every hour that I'm not like in a meeting or with students. So Friday is the day that I make content for the weeks coming up. So making my videos, making these Parent Connect meetings, posting all of the assignments, doing my grading, all of that. So on Friday, I do the morning meeting, and then after that, I'm typically not on Zoom unless you reach out and you ask for me to meet at a specific time. Sorry, this is a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. I would be happy to help you. There is no school on Monday because it's President's Day, but we will be back to normal on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.